You were like, I'm on vacation at this 4-season resort. And then Ellen Pompeo came in and shot somebody. But not
such a banger.
But not this season.
No.
People had big feelings about that.
It's a very mellow opening this year. It's not got that boom ba doom ba boom ba boom.
Oh, but it does slap.
It's still fun.
I'm Amy Newman.
I'm Kris Carr.
And we know getting into a new fandom can be intimidating with all the gatekeeping out there.
It sure can, especially with all these white collar folks running around. That's why on this podcast, we have a super fan, or the two of us, come on to talk to you about a fandom so you can dip your toe in sans judgment.
And we wanted to hop in on a little White Lotus chat because we got a season finale coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
And I love this show. And I have gaslit Kris into liking this show.
This is very true.
I think maybe.
Amy and I had text exchanges of, oh my gosh, have you been watching this season of White Lotus, and talking about Walton Goggins? And I was like, I can't do it. I did the first 2 seasons and I hate
You did not
it.
do them.
I did watch them.
Did you watch all of them?
No, I watched all of them. I watched them to completion. I just have no appreciation for them.
Oh.
No, if I start a show, I don't bail on it.
Fascinating.
I mean, until like Grey's Anatomy was something where I'm like, that's still on and I don't watch that.
Oh, I was under the impression I misheard you.
Oh, no,
I'll start listening when you talk.
We don't need to. That's fine.
I thought you were saying you only got a couple episodes in.
No, I watched the first season and went, I don't get why people love this. And then I watched the second season and went, I think I hate this. And then because of you, I was like, okay, I'll watch the third season. I'll see what it is. I know,
I didn't push.
But you also have really good opinions usually, and you typically help me reframe some stuff where I go, you know what, maybe I was a little too harsh on that. Like no hard feelings comes to mind, right? Of I watched it, and I think maybe I was in a bad mood too, where I was like, I don't see how this is funny. I don't like it. The relationship is rushed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then you pointed out a bunch of things and went, okay.
Mainly
I'll
it was
watch it
just
again.
me going, funny. That movie was funny.
I rewatched and went, okay, I can appreciate this more. Yeah. And I didn't have disdain for it, right?
Yeah.
White Lotus was one of those where then Logan and I sat down and went, okay, well, we'll watch it just so we also know what the hell everyone's talking about.
It's a very buzzy show.
Yeah. And this season, man, it's good.
Which is so interesting to me because I feel like amongst the fans, and I believe even critically, the second season is pretty far and away
Everyone loves that one.
everyone's favorite.
I was talking to a friend of the show, Tanya LaHoo.
Sure.
Same situation where she was like, oh, I hate the second season as well. And I was like, thank you.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I just went back to prep for this and watched like the first and last episode of the first season and then part of the second season.
Okay.
And the second season to me, I love the first season. I do think there's that little edge of like recency bias of everyone just went so crazy for the second season. It's like the first season I don't think gets enough love for how much it tackles and how good it is. The second season was an immediate like, haha, here are my friends. Like something about that season, I totally get why it clicked with people. I think it has, because, and I'm sure we'll get into this, I think all 3 seasons sort of, for a show that is always sort of about similar themes, each season I think sort of picks a subset theme.
Oh, sure.
And I think obviously with sort of the second season being about sex and particularly kind of the power of sex and who holds the cards and all that kind of thing, I feel like the second season was clearest with that, which I really liked.
Okay.
I liked a lot of the characters. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I liked the Italian prostitutes a lot.
Oh, they're great. I think they were the biggest. Just like I missed you girls.
They were great. Those 2 sex workers, in love.
I am also, my secret shame is how much of an Albie apologist I am.
I get it.
Do I just think he's hot?
Probably. But hey.
Like, I was like, I like this guy. I'm rooting for him. And then I went online and everyone was like, he gives me serial killer vibes. And I was like, oh.
I feel like everyone's really polarized about certain characters, though, anyway. This is a show that really does that. If you either love them, hate them, or love to hate them.
Well, I think it's part of the brilliance of Mike White's writing. And at some point, we'll get into what the show is if you've never watched it. But one thing I really like about this show, and even rewatching some of it and thinking about the third season, it is a show about people with money. But and I think one thing you kept talking about was like, it's not satirical enough for me. And I don't know if satire is even quite the right word.
Yeah.
Because when you hear satire about people with money, my assumption, and I think sort of your an assumption would be, it's going to really lampoon the 1%ers for being out of touch rich people.
Yeah.
That's in there. But for me, a lot of what really hits is that they are writing characters like Albie, where it's like, I like that guy. Fuck, I've dated that guy. Like, the friends this season, it's like, I've seen those friendships. I've been in those friendships. Like, it's not necessarily, it is about people with money, but it's so much more about just humans and how kind of flawed and weird we all are. And so I think that is also really interesting when you get a character like Albie, where it's like, there are a lot of people online who are like, I've had experiences with guys who framed themselves in the second season. If it's been a minute, the son of the family of the three men who are going. If you haven't seen it, he very much frames himself. It's sort of these three generations. It almost becomes three generations of toxic masculine or like toxic men.
Yeah.
But in very, very different ways of like the grandpa's way more kind of old school, a bit misogynistic, very like, well, I'm an old man, but I still want to flirt with, anything with breasts. And then the dad who thinks he's better than that, but is cheating on the mom and clearly has a lot of his own weird things with sex. And then Albie, who's like, I'm such a good guy.
I'm a feminist.
But then he I think what icked everyone out was he dropped something about liking women who are wounded birds.
Yeah.
And again, it's the brilliance of the writing of, that's not a caricature. You're not writing this guy to be the villain, but that's such a thing so many women have had negative experiences with.
Yeah.
That so for a lot of people, it was just an immediate, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Well, I think my big problem, too, is, especially season 1, everyone pitched it as this hilarious satire.
No.
And that's not what it is.
No.
It's kind of the same way as the trailers for In Bruges made it look like a slapstick comedy. And you watch In Bruges, and that's not what that movie is.
No.
It's great. But if you have the expectation, because I took my brother to see it, and he was like, this is not fun.
No.
But
it's funny, but it's
good.
Incredibly dark.
Yeah. It's a very different thing than wacky shenanigans.
Yeah,
happening.
it's not, let's all point and laugh at the rich people.
Yeah.
It's, let's examine human nature and look at ourselves and look at our own relationships with class and privilege or sex or identity or karma or, whatever these seasons are getting into.
Yeah. It's a scathing lens at this kind of person.
Yeah.
And then also the uncomfort or the discomfort you find in relatable moments.
Yeah.
Of, I'm better than these shitty 1%ers. And then there are things where you go, like the friend group, right? I've been with these women. I've been one of these women. Yeah. Or even the Italian season, right? Mm-hmm. When talking about politics, when talking about privilege and everything. It happens all the time. Yeah. I mean, where it's just, I'm better than you because I have these higher values.
Yeah.
And then you see how that all actually boils down. And I think there's a really interesting discomfort that comes with watching this show, not only because of how shitty all these people are, but because how you have to then look at yourself or family members or friends.
Yeah.
And I think if it had just been reframed for me of what that is, I maybe would have had a better time. But this season too, because people are getting such comeuppance immediately, I think I enjoy it more.
Interesting.
Because we've talked about this where I have a hard time with assholes being assholes to assholes.
Yeah.
We work in the entertainment industry. I can find everyone like that. I like escapism in my television usually.
Right.
But this is one that's been a really just fun, fucked up journey.
Sure. Sure.
It might also be because I feel like this cast really gets the assignment as well.
Yeah. But I do feel the casting throughout has been...
Oh, they're all great. I mean, Emmy winners.
Yeah.
What is the name of the manager from season 1? He's brilliant.
Oh, I believe his name is Murray Bartlett, but I'm going to double check that.
He's incredible.
And who plays... Murray Bartlett, who plays Armand. So good in that show.
Mm-hmm. He's incredible. He was so good on The Last of Us. Oh, my God.
Yeah, really versatile, really excellent actor. But it's also... a little bit of a mystery.
Yes.
So White Lotus, I guess we should get into.
We should say what it is.
If you haven't seen it, I think kind of, depending on your feeling, you could call it a satire. I would say it's a comedy drama, kind of in that order.
Yeah.
Because even the heavy stuff is always treated with like a little wink and a not taking anybody too seriously from the writer's perspective. Every season takes place at a different branch of this fictional luxury hotel. It's 4 seasons. They just film them at 4 seasons, but it's the White Lotus Hotel. That are these incredibly high-end luxury resorts. Each season has had a different cast of characters coming to the resort for a week.
Like one connective thread.
Yeah, so we've started to get connective tissue as the seasons go. But generally speaking, it's the new, group of tourists showing up for the week and then sort of the staff at the hotel. But each season starts with this very fun gimmick. And I think it's part of why I was so taken with this show so fast. Each season has started with the kind of the core crew, the core tourist crew riding up. Or no, it cuts back. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No worries.
I've watched this so recently, y'all. God, don't ever let me pitch something. No.
Wait.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm wrong. I'll start at the middle.
What is that from the... Stop that. Reverse it. What is that a bit in?
Is it Willy Wonka?
It might be.
Scratch that, reverse it?
Yeah.
I think.
Anywho.
Let me tell you about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This girl becomes a blueberry. No. I'm ahead of myself. Backtrack. So we start each season at the resort and we see something terrible has happened. Well, no, because one season starts at an airport. Each season we start at the end. I guess is where I'm getting confused.
We start each season knowing that there has been a violent crime committed.
Yes, and at least an illusion that there has been a death.
Yes.
So the first season we know someone has died at the hotel and they're loading a body onto the plane. The second season we find out someone has drowned and there have been other deaths. And this season starts off at the end of the week and we're hearing gunshots and seeing a body in the water.
Float on up. But you can't see whose body it is.
No.
You never know which body.
Then we, flash back a week to kind of our core group of tourists rolling up on the boat. And we go through the week. But there's sort of this really juicy hanging. Who's it going to be? What does this mean? I think we'll get into spoiler country later. But I think Mike White does a great job of giving you enough to make assumptions, but then really every time has subverted, I think, fan expectations pretty thoroughly. I don't think there's ever been a death that is exactly what anyone saw coming.
No.
I like that everyone online for a while was just like, they're showing those monkeys a lot. Monkey gets a gun. Monkey gets a gun. And I think finally one of the actors was just like, a monkey does not get a gun. Please stop saying that, you fucking weirdos. But everyone's so used to the Mike White kind of bait and switch now with these seasons that everybody's a little like, I'm going to outsmart him. I like the way, I feel like I keep sitting on this pillow and Kermit's just like, hey.
Hi, ho, Amy.
Hi, ho.
It's troubling that he's like, hey, Amy, sit on my face.
What's your favorite season of the White Lotus, Kermit?
I like the one with the Italians. Chris is wrong. Probably would be it.
It's a common feeling, Kermit.
It was a flawless Kermit.
I think too much sexuality for Kermit in that one.
Possibly.
I don't think.
That could have been it. Which that's not even what bummed me out. I don't even know what it was. I just kept watching it and being like, I hate all of you. I wanted everyone to die.
But they were in Italy.
And that's why I thought it'd be better. I was like, I've been here. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
No. I think this one too just also has so much like fucking intense stuff happening so quickly that it's just a raised bar of like hyper violence, hyper inappropriate behavior that I'm just like, oh, this is very interesting to me.
Interesting. Do you think your enjoyment of season 3 would ever lead you to reassess your feelings of season 1 and 2?
Potentially. Because I've done this with other shows.
Kind of having a better vibe of what this is.
Yeah.
Because again, I think like satire gives you the wrong impression.
A little bit, yeah. It's also the idea, too, of when something's super hyped up and then you watch it and you don't have the same reaction because it's been put on this pedestal.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it too, of like, this is the best thing you've ever seen. Every single acting class I was at the time for season 1 was talking about how this was like the greatest show that had ever existed.
I did definitely do a couple scenes from that first season, like given to me by a teacher, not even like I went and picked because I didn't watch the show, but I definitely did the scene where what's her fucking name? Alexandra Daddario approaches Connie Britton. Like, I wrote an article about you, and she tears her to shreds, which is such a good scene.
It's a really good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did what I often do, which is wait until I feel like I've gotten into so many things when the thing has hit kind of a fever pitch of a finale.
Oh.
Like, my dad read me the first couple of Harry Potter books, and I was like, not for me. And then after the last movie came out, I was like, everybody's having so goddamn much fun with this. I'm kind of mad I never got into it. Ooh. And then I sat down and read all the books and watched all the movies. I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that with White Lotus. I think it was post the second season finale because I feel like that everyone was talking about it. Everyone was talking about, like, there's this great twist ending and it's so good and Jennifer Coolidge is so good in it.
The gays are going to kill me memes.
Right. So then I was like, well, I want to know what this is about.
Sure.
So I hopped into season 1 and I tore through that shit, especially that second season. I was doing that like, I can brush my teeth in the room with the TV to get 30 more seconds before 2 more minutes. I do brush my teeth for a good amount of time. 2 minutes.
That's what you're supposed to do.
As dentists recommend.
Yeah. Mine's timed.
Mine is too, but then my toothbrush died. Oral-B, get at me.
Get your shit together. Have we talked about brushy? How this is stuck in my head for all time? My little brother had a timed mechanical toothbrush that sang a song.
I'm your friend, Brushy.
Yeah.
Have I told you my Brushy song?
No.
Or my Brushy song? I have my own.
You have your own?
Actually, if I could.
composed something else.
Okay.
I played ukulele while brushing my teeth. I was a very gifted child.
I'm such a big fan. It's an homage. It's an homage to the greats.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I had a brushy toothbrush. And as you just mentioned, it sings a little song.
Yeah.
This was, late 90s toothbrush battery technology. I was gonna say we weren't where we're at today, but my Oral-B toothbrush died like the second time I tried to charge it. Oral-B.
Get it together.
It might still be under warranty. I have not checked. Water got into the battery, so my mom was home alone and just heard like, brushy. And my mom was like, there's a man in my house.
What's great is this is every horror movie trope ever, right? Of just what if we just take
around.
a lullaby? Yeah. We'll slow it down and make it ominous.
I'm your friend, brushy. That is actually going to be over the Avengers Doomsday trailer when we get the first images of Robert Downey Jr. in that.
Coming to theaters near you. It's going to be intense.
It's so good. What were we talking about?
This was a show that you'd watch, like, go brush your teeth.
Oh,
and
yes,
watch.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
My enamel is wrecked. And I wanted to see what happened to everybody so badly, and I wanted to know who died, and I didn't even like Albie. He's stupid. You're right, internet. I'm wrong.
You guys got it. What a guy. What a bad boy.
Man, I will just say, I just saw, oh gosh, I'm so bad with names. From the second season, Theo James, who plays Cameron in the second season. What's this face you're making?
He's so good looking, has Peter Gallagher's voice when he's American, is such a gifted actor, and he's such a twat in season 2.
So I could not be attracted to him.
Yeah.
He's so annoying in that second
He's
season.
terrible.
Shout out to the monkey. Shout out. I was like, oh, he is really hot. He's quite good in that.
He was on the HBO series, The Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh.
And that was the one for me where
Was
I
he
was
the
like,
time traveler?
Yeah, he was. And I was like, oh, okay. Because he was in those Divergent movies as well.
Okay, sure.
Which I didn't see, but I saw posters for it. And I was like, oh, there's a guy. And then he...
Sure is.
I'm really great at observing things. And then he was in Netflix's The Gentleman series as well. Really good. Tremendous British actor. He was really good with his dialect.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolute creep in that show.
Good in the monkey. Plays twins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, have not seen.
No. You wouldn't like it.
I know.
It's not even terribly scary. It is almost like a comedy horror.
I've heard it's pretty campy.
But it's gory enough. I don't think you'd dig it.
No, I don't think so.
I did.
I'm trying to psych myself up for the Michael B. Jordan vampire movie. Do want to see that one. I just have to see it during the day.
You know it'll be dark in the theater whenever you go.
But then I'll leave and I won't think the vampires are going to get me.
Oh, sure.
And also, there will be less people in the theater, so I won't ruin their experience.
That's why I like seeing scary movies that are set in like space.
Oh.
So I'm like, I'm not up there. Alien Romulus, I was like, yeah, but I'm not going up, you know? I'm staying here.
Same.
That's my goal.
I made the mistake of hitting a vape once or twice in my life. Probably a popcorn lung. I can't go to space. I can't do that.
Saved yourself.
Yeah.
Made the mistake of hitting a vape.
Yeah.
Just fell in your mouth and you're like,
oh no.
You breathed in to say what? And you were like, oh.
You know when everyone though was like, this surely is safer than a cigarette.
Uh-huh.
No. What a dumb thing.
So White Lotus.
White Lotus. So do we want to mostly do what's happening in season 3 for folks?
I guess we keep it as general as we can.
Okay.
And then maybe we can get into spoiler country.
Sure.
Because I do want to do some like recap discussion theories because at release
which is something that Patrick Schwarzenegger's character would say.
How dare you? I'm nothing like him. Why do people keep saying that? Upon
when this episode comes
distribution.
Sure.
When we splooge this episode into your ears. Yeah, that's the good one. We'll keep that. I'll edit the rest out.
There we go.
The final episode will come out Sunday. So we don't know.
No.
Mike White won't return our calls.
Which is rude.
So we'll theorize.
Yeah.
We'll be there with the rest of the internet going, clearly.
You know what for sure is going to happen?
Clearly. It's like I've never guessed right once.
No.
I'm such a dumb little baby.
I am so good at predicting like who is the killer, how they were murdered, etc. This show I've never been able to do.
Yeah.
It always throws me for a loop.
Well, because anything that feels like they're setting us up for this is probably a red herring.
Yeah. Or immediately gets eliminated, where it's, yeah, obviously this is going to happen. I see where the gun is. I see who has it. Oh, now they don't.
Yep.
It's a reverse Chekhov.
We got a gun in a trash can. I'm like, Chekhov didn't prepare me for this. Just like a random public trash can in Bangkok. Yeah, it's like, I guess that's gone.
That's why monkey makes sense, honestly.
I hope it is a monkey. And everyone called it, and Mike White was like, God damn it.
Be incredible. Oh, speaking of monkeys, just with this season real quick, I did I finally, because I didn't catch it in the moment, I felt so dumb afterwards, the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil moment with the kids.
Oh, I'm on Reddit, and if one more person showed us that, like,
were you just lose it?
It was exciting the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And then 17 posts on Reddit of like,
fair.
Mike White, you son of a bitch.
That was for me, I was like, oh, that's a cute detail. Well done, Mike.
It is. No, it's clever. But the internet makes everything not fun anymore.
That's fair.
I don't watch either of these shows, but I do really love that Mike White was apparently on Survivor and Amazing Race.
What?
Oh, did you not know that?
No, I just know him from School of Rock.
Yes. In my brain, he is still Mike White from School of Rock.
Yeah, he's Jack Black's best friend.
Yeah. But apparently, he also did those things. So.
That's hilarious. Just because?
I haven't asked.
Mike White, return our phone calls. Gosh.
I will say this show, just looking at the viewership stats, holy cow, does it pop off as the seasons go.
Ooh.
Like, not season to season, but within the season. So the last 2 seasons both have had almost double viewership on their last episode versus their first episode.
Oh, wow.
This, I think, more than has doubled by the 7th episode. So this is also the longest season. So first season was 6 episodes. Second season was 7 episodes. Third season was 8. Mike White, you genius. Fourth season's going to be 9. I'll fucking call it. But it is a show. Well, I feel like right now it's like if you're not watching this and you're not watching Succession, fuck are you doing? I'm not watching Succession either, so.
That was another one where I was like, this is a lot of assholes being assholes, and I can watch some of it.
I've heard it's complicated, and my brain, so very simple. I'll be totally honest. When you were like, hear no evil, see no evil, I was like, huh? God damn it, Mike, you did it again.
Oh, man.
No, I will watch Succession someday.
Yeah.
Maybe in prep for the third. I'll wait till the 3rd season's coming out, and then I'll catch up, and then I'll get on it because it is fun.
Oh, did that not end?
I think the second, is it over?
I thought it was over. I could be wrong. We'll have to fact check.
I missed the Succession train.
Maybe it's still happening.
I missed the Succession party.
Maybe not. Who's to say?
I'll try to calm down and do the rest of this episode. I was really banking on like 2026 was going to be my year, baby. I was going to be watching Succession with everyone. I was going to be watching White Lotus with everyone. I was going to roll up to dinner parties like, which would you like to talk about?
Brian Cox just really wanted to do McDonald's ads.
Not Succession.
So, yeah.
I wasn't
thinking Severance? Oh, there we go. That's why I was like, that's why I think this is done.
And you're like, you dumb bitch. That show's so over. Succession is over, yes. I did mean Severance.
Oh, yeah. You'll really like that one.
Okay.
It's weird.
I will wait for the 3rd season on that one.
That makes sense. Enjoy watching that, in 2026, 2027.
We'll see. If there's another strike.
And they decide to do it. It's going to be great. Yeah.
I couldn't get into Succession.
No.
Some shows, okay, well, I think, case in point, because Eric binged Succession, I tried to sit down and watch it, same way I felt about, like, Mad Men, where I was like, I don't think this show is bad. I think this show really thrives in a week-to-week watch structure. Some shows are not bingers.
You know what? That's also why I might not have enjoyed the other 2 seasons of White Lotus. Because I did binge them.
I enjoyed a binge, but I could see it feeling like a lot.
Yeah. Maybe that was it. Man, he binged all of Succession? He's so bright and happy, though. I'm sure he was just like, well, they're all having their own personal problems.
I think just every other show we're interested in, it's like, we can't watch it without me. So every once in a while, we have to get really territorial and be like, no, you can watch it later. This one's mine. And don't start watching it at a different pace for me, because then I'm going to go to watch it. And on Max, it's going to be on the wrong episode. I'm going to be all turned around.
I do love how that's become a very big, point of contention with couples of you cheated on me by watching this episode. I think that's
we're
such an interesting thing about
we're watching
viewership.
this one together for sure. But we watched the first 2 seasons separately because I watched it all and then I was like, you should watch this. It's fucking great. But I do think a lot of this popularity, as evidenced by the way people get on board by the last episode, is that week by week release, right? It's fun to theorize what things mean. It's fun to theorize who's going to be the body at the end of the episode. It's fun to watch the little like next week on and go, wait, why the fuck were you making that face? Why was he making that face? Surely not the thing no, it couldn't be that.
Not that. Terrible.
That couldn't be causing that face. And then it was, Mike.
This is why, too. Do you like the binge model?
I think it depends on the show.
Okay, same.
I think it depends on the show. But like, no. I think on the whole, I would rather things, because here's the thing, you always have the option to, because I think I heard someone say, like, personally, I like to just sit and watch it all in one go. I'm going to wait till it's done.
Yeah.
Great. That's an option for you. But I kind of hate, it's just such a joy when a show you really, really love is out. Mm-hmm. Like, the summer Stranger Things drop is like the closest my brain gets to making dopamine at a normal rate. You know what I mean? And could you imagine if they were dropping those just weekly?
Yeah.
Come on.
I do like the split, though, that they started doing so that you do have that time of like, holy shit, what do you think is going to happen in the back half of this?
Yeah.
I think that's smart. Because then you have shows like You, where, I
Me?
binge through all of that. Exactly.
Wow.
you know that show You, where you're in it on Netflix? But like, that's
I haven't seen a dime.
Fuck.
Get my agent on the phone.
Really need to. Streamers, you know, part of the problem. But you binge through that season and you talk about it maybe for a day or two.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
Well, and it kind of sucks because it does almost make it hard to get into things sometimes because there is almost a pressure if you really love a show. Like when the new season of Stranger Things drops, there is a moment of like, I gotta fucking clear my schedule, man, or I'm gonna hear what happens before I get there. And there is something nice about, by middle of this week, I will carve out an evening and be caught up on White Lotus. I will carve out that hour for this. So I do really like it. I think the memes have popped the fuck off on this. I think the finale is going to be fucking huge because I believe it was tied for the first season with like a slower start from the second season. But the last episode has had, I believe, the highest US viewers of any episode of the show.
Ooh, okay.
On its release.
That's cool.
So
that's very exciting.
the people are so sorry. I don't know. I have no excuse.
Usually that kind of content is saved for Patreon.
I have no excuse why I did that.
Oh,
I can't.
I do like that this is like our Gremlin episode of like, it's too late. It's just too late.
I can't fix it. I can only apologize.
Oh. I hope you're enjoying Amy's brain just misfiring and me wheezing like Muttley from Wacky Racers.
The theme songs.
Yes.
People were missing the Lolo Lolos. The theme song for every season is kind of variations on a theme.
Yes.
But the first 2 seasons had, if I may, see, when I do it like that, it's far less threatening.
It's fine.
You want to harmonize with me on that? You want high or low?
I'll go low.
Okay. Ready? 3.
Beautiful.
You went low.
I went really low.
I thought you were going to just take the note I took.
No.
You were like, I'll
low.
be a bass.
Yeah.
This season, no. And everyone was really mad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say it, maybe too mad.
I think so.
People were like, I can't watch this.
It's very extreme. I did expect more because it has just been like a very intense rhythmic thing that you turn on and listen to. And
Oh,
it's like,
see,
let's go. But I think it works.
You haven't seen the little dance I do for this one.
Oh.
I mean, it's not playing, so I obviously later.
Okay.
Just for you. I love it. And I feel like it grew on people. I feel like I've heard more people than not saying like, oh, by about episode 5, I was like, to it, you know. So calm down. Calm down. And I feel like people were so quick to. It's funny to me to hear you say like, I actually like this season and I hadn't dug the show previously, because I feel like I saw so many people online immediately jumping on like, this is slow. I don't like these characters. I don't like, and you're more than entitled to your opinion.
Sure.
But I do feel like it's such a show of like, let the man cook. Like,
Yeah.
Like I only feel joy when I see Lucia and Mia from the last season, because I spent 7 episodes with them and grew to love them. When I saw them in season 1 or the episode 1 of the second season, I was just like, well, figure there.
Yeah. Well, and same with this season too. I immediately was like, Parker Posey, queen.
Yeah.
Yes, you are wonderful.
Like it.
But yeah, episode 1 for any show too is just like, let me introduce myself. I never understand when people are like, this isn't for me on the first episode of something.
I think especially with an anthology like this, where we are sort of moving locations and moving core cast of characters every time, it is really a show where it's like, if you love one season of this and you jump into the next season and you're like, not for me, give it a minute.
Yeah.
Give it a couple episodes and let it cook and see if it's for you. It might not be, but...
With that in mind too.
Yeah.
Because I had somebody who watched season 1 and bailed and didn't like it. Talked to me and they said, oh, so if you like this, like, would I be able to jump into season 3 and like understand everything that's going on? And I feel like the answer is yes, but not intimately.
Yeah. There's threads here that would not... Should we get into spoiler country? So I have no idea if that was on time. I can't
No, you
hear
did
it
that
in the room.
perfectly. I should maybe shorten the banjo. Anywho's.
Don't you fucking dare.
No, you like the duration of the banjo?
Add a couple Lolos and now we're talking. Okay, so spoilers, I guess, for up to the point we are at, but particularly kind of seasons 1 and 2 spoilers. So the big through line of the show thus far is Tanya McQuad, who is Jennifer Coolidge's character.
So well done.
So good. Shows up in the first season to White Lotus, Hawaii. Have I not said the locations of the White Lotuses?
We have not. We've just said they're in various locations.
Season 1 was Hawaii, season 2 was Sicily, season 3 was Thailand.
Boom.
She shows up, she's mourning the death of her mother. She ends up, I'll cliff notes it, she ends up meeting this guy, Greg, initially. Taking my brain a minute. I don't know the names of different TV shows, so bear with me. Meets up with Greg, sort of falls for him. They sort of end the season kind of running off together. He seems marginally interested in her.
Yeah.
She promises the head of the spa at the White Lotus Maui, Belinda. She, over the course of the season, makes a lot of promises that she's going to help Belinda start her own spa, and then ends up pulling that money and kind of fucking off with Greg.
Yes.
Season 2 is where it gets interesting because she is now married to Greg. They are in Italy together at the White Lotus, Sicily. He fucks off for kind of some unidentified reason.
He seems to very much not like her.
Yeah. Not that he was ever big on her.
He didn't seem head over heels ever.
Yeah.
But in this, he seems to have a genuine disdain, doesn't enjoy having sex with her.
Yeah.
Does not want to be around her, kind of sets her off to go hang out with other people.
Yeah. So she gets caught up with a group of gays.
A group of gays. A gaggle of gays.
If you will. And ends up going off on a boat with them, comes to realize that Greg has set them up to kill her so he can get her money. The death in the second season is several of the murderous gays she takes out on the boat. And then in peak, like, it's one of my favorite, like, Mike White. Like, she does pretty fucking good for Tanya and for how kind of much of a mess this character has been.
Yeah.
She gets a hand on a gun. She takes all these guys out. She gets to the edge of the boat with, side note, a ladder down to the getaway boat, like
It's right there.
15 feet away.
Yeah.
In heels, tries to jump off the boat, slips, cracks her head, and dies.
Yeah.
So what you will be missing if you jump into season 3 is all that context, because Greg has now shown back up under the name Gary at White Lotus, Thailand. Belinda has shown up to kind of...
She's like in a training program.
Yeah, to come to this different White Lotus and see how they do things. Belinda has recognized Gary. She realizes she may be in danger. It's not a hard plot to pick up on, and there's a lot of her, like, searching on the computer and being like, oh, I think realizing Tanya's dead.
Yes.
And piecing all that together. So you could piece it together with her.
Yeah.
But there's context that's fun. Mm-hmm. And you would be missing also the other 2 seasons I quite enjoy.
You would miss out on Jennifer Coolidge's Emmy Award-winning performance, which, as much as I don't like season 2, is really phenomenal.
Yeah, she's great.
She's incredible in it. And that whole scene that you just described is really well executed.
Yeah.
It's super fun and ridiculous.
Yeah. So all that to say, I would say kind of give it all a shot. If a season really calls to you for some reason, I guess go for it. Or if you really just want to get in on the memes, you could definitely jump in on. Sometimes I'm just here for the memes.
Yeah.
You could start with 3 and even potentially work your way back later if it speaks to you.
That's actually a really fun idea.
Little out of order,
Yeah.
little backwards Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a sex position.
Probably is. Amy, focus.
This is why I have. It's a yoga pose. But
I mean, all yoga poses can be a sex position. Look at that.
I don't think I could do that.
I could. I just wouldn't enjoy that.
I just wouldn't come back down. That's Amy. Her neck's like that now. So yeah, I guess all that to say.
Could, but should? Up to you.
Up to you. All right, season 3. Should we kind of where we are so far?
Sure.
Because we haven't really delved.
No, at least our cast of characters,
Yes.
right? Of what's all happening.
So you have the 3 friends,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently, have you heard that? Oh God, someone was like, I don't actually know any characters' names on the show. Jacqueline,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Kate.
Dang! I keep calling them by the actresses' names.
Yeah, that's fair. Not Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek,
No.
but I've never seen them together. Can't prove it. She looks a lot like her.
That's fair.
No, so those 3 women are like childhood besties who have all very much gone their separate ways in life, and they're sort of having the we've been friends forever girls trip.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, do they not like each other.
They're very toxic. They're very, very difficult with one another.
Did you hear that Mike White based this on an actual friend group he witnessed?
Ooh, no, that's exciting.
I forget where he was, but he said he said in an interview that he was out somewhere at like a very nice, hotel or restaurant or something, and saw these 3 blonde women where they were kind of just indistinguishable, just this blonde blob of women. And the second one would get up and go to the bathroom or go do something, he just watched the other 2 like immediately start talking shit about her. And he was like, that's fucking amazing. And then like she'd come back and the other one would leave, and then the other 2 would start talking shit. And he was just like, that's amazing.
What's so good about this group, too, is how innocuous that starts, though.
Yeah.
Of just I'm really concerned she just doesn't seem happy.
Yeah.
Or I think she drank a lot tonight.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
plausible deniability of, I'm worried about my friend. That, like, be real with yourself. We've all done.
Yeah, and it just becomes more and more egregious shit talk as this goes on.
Now, since we are in spoiler country, I fucking hate Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline's terrible.
And the thing that pisses me off, because Jacqueline kept pushing Lori, because Lori is the only single one. She's divorced. Jacqueline and Kate are both married. And she kept pushing Lori to sleep with this guy who works at the hotel.
Valentin.
Mm-hmm. And then on a night out, sleeps with Valentin herself. And Lori gets upset. Now, the thing that I think I would be pissed off about the behavior, because it's all kind of fucked and attention-seeky and like all the things she calls out, rightfully so.
Yeah.
The thing no one said that I think would be the first thing I said is, you cheated on your husband on our girls' trip, and I'm not supposed to be uncomfortable about that?
Yeah. Well, especially with Kate being so religious now.
Mm-hmm.
Of, we're cool with that?
Yeah.
We're cool with that infidelity?
No one's going to mention, at least, like, I don't want to cover for you.
Yeah.
That's an awkward position to put your friends in and a fucked up thing to do. So now Lori is out fucking another one of the Russian guys who are definitely the guys who stole the necklace from the White Lotus.
Yes, which is another plot point in here.
Yes.
The security guard, or at least the guy who mans the kind of booth at the beginning.
Security guard.
Security guard is
I'm sorry, Guy Talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Guy Talk misses like letting somebody into the property.
Yeah. Well, and gets distracted by Valentin.
Yes.
So very clearly, like, these three guys are in.
There's collusion. They do a smash and grab of jewelry inside the resort that Guy Talk has to like deal with the fallout of that as well. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, now she found the necklace.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot that. She also almost gets Albied.
She does almost get Albied.
Albied, who gets taken for several grand. Several tens of thousands of dollars, if I'm right. It's a lot of money.
At least in this one, Lori's like, I don't have money to give you to help your mom get out of Russia.
No, there was a meme I saw that was just a because I was like, she's getting Albie, fuck. And I saw a meme of just a picture of Albie of like, that man would have had the Cash App out before he finished his sentence.
That's fair.
God love him. So she's getting like swindled.
Yes. And she gets out of there though, at least. Yeah. Because then that guy's girlfriend shows up and freaks out.
I heard a theory on the internet.
You went on the internet?
I was trying to figure out what a backwards Lotus was. Someone was like, do you think Valentin is blackmailing Jacqueline now? If that was part of their whole plan.
Oh. Could be.
Again, Mike White has very consistently proven me wrong about everything.
Mm-hmm. These women are also so unhinged.
Yes.
That they could be the ones. Because remember, we talked about how at the beginning of this season, there is a shooting happening at the hotel. And we don't know who the shooter is.
Mm-hmm. You think one of them has the gun?
One of them could get the gun. The Russians could come back with the gun. But also, like, things have been so unhinged with everybody in that group.
Yeah.
That it could be a snap moment.
You think Carrie Coon's going to go shooting?
I don't know if it's going to be Carrie Coon, honestly. I'm wondering if it's Jacqueline.
You think?
I mean, Lori's pretty, like, loosey-goosey. I don't give a fuck about what's happening.
Could you imagine? I just like the optics of that of like, because Jacqueline's also like,
she's an actress.
A big TV star. Yeah. If like, you were like, I'm on vacation at this 4-season resort, and then Ellen Pompeo came in and shot somebody.
Well, I just feel like with their heightened drama, with the amount of alcohol,
name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't watch it.
The heightened drama, the alcohol, and how like aggressive they're starting to get with each other, I could see that turning into like a perfect storm of just like nonsense.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Especially again with how heightened everything is in on the show.
Bold theory. I like it.
Could be cool.
I feel like it's not going to be the Russians because we've already seen the Russians with guns. It just does not feel like the Mike White way. Well, rewatching the first season, I forgot how much of a bait and switch the wife is.
Yep.
Because you see the husband at the airport, like very standoffish about when someone else in the airport's asking, like, oh, you were at the White Lotus, didn't someone die there? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, you're on your honeymoon. How's that going? And he's like super standoffish. And you don't see Alexandra Daddario, whose character, Rachel. Holy shit.
Oh, whoa. Well done.
You don't see Rachel, the wife, and they keep having all these like tiffs and like it's looking like they might split up. So you're spending the whole season going, she's not fucking making it to that airport.
They're absolutely going to fridge her.
No, it was Armand.
Yeah. Such a death.
Did a toozy in a suitcase and
God, I loved his character.
yeah.
So fucked up.
I feel like you might love this show.
I don't know if I do though. I was so mad watching it.
Shane is the worst. Like, I don't think Shane's the worst person, but I think Shane might be the character I hate the most.
Mm-hmm. Horrible. I don't like him. We also have in this season. So then we talked about Guy Talk.
Hold on, you have a gun with 2 bullets, and Shane, Cameron, and Saxon are there.
Wait, which one's Cameron?
From the second season, Theo James.
Oh, Theo James. Okay, thank you.
I shoot Shane twice.
Yeah, I think so. Especially
Saxon's not a good person, but he's had a fucking rough week.
he's had a very rough week. And honestly, I feel like there are flashes of decency that could be in there. I feel like he doesn't want to be, ultimately, the huge piece of shit he is. Those other 2 guys will never, ever be better than they were. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Whereas Saxon, well, he desperately wants Poon and desperately wants to, like, be an achiever at work, just does not have the emotional intelligence to be better, but also recognizes that he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting thing.
We respect the self-awareness.
Yeah.
Also, as someone who suffers from anxiety, the morning after he had to reconcile with, fate worse than death, just all across the board.
Oh my God.
So
let's explain who he is.
Yes.
Too.
So we have the Ratliff family. Ratliff?
Yeah.
My computer auto-corrected to Ratcliffe, which is the scary bad guy from Pocahontas.
It is.
Who I was once so afraid of. My mother had to run with me to the double-decker bus on Main Street, and we rode away, and I was like... when we were at Disneyland.
Oh, that's just classic Amy lore.
I believe, at least how the story was recounted to me, I believe I yelled, "Mommy, run, it's Ratcliffe!"
That is a really scary costumed character, though.
So much chest?
It's so much chest, and also...
And then directly into head?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
As a former Disney character...
Sure.
I do not like the humanoid characters.
Yeah.
It's unsettling.
Yeah.
It shouldn't exist.
Well, that's weird when it's next to a person. Like that Pocahontas is just a lady in a dress.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that they do live shows, too, of a lot of these characters, we're like, Captain Hook is a man with a prosthetic nose. Mr. Smee is a man with a prosthetic nose. And then you walk around the park, and those are weird head costume characters.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. Disney, synergy. Figure it out. Congruency throughout.
Don't stop making me cry.
Yeah.
So the Ratliff family, a bunch of North Carolina weirdos.
Dad is a big time businessman who works in finance.
I was gonna say generically a finance man.
Yes.
I don't think we've gotten more, and if we did, I don't understand it.
No, we just know we're looking for a man in finance. Blue eyes.
Got a gun. Might kill himself.
Drug problem that escalates throughout the season. His wife is a
Pepperneck.
She's got the most ridiculous Southern accent, which pot kettle, because I sound like Parker Posey after I've had 3 bourbons, so I understand this. There's a great post going around that they did phonetically her words.
Tsunami.
Phone was like, it had umlauts all over it of just like phone. So
incredible. Yeah, she is lorazepammed.
Yes.
To the nines.
She is usually drugged up for her anxiety.
Relatable queen. And wait, did we get to that Tim is getting...
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
Gimli, cool it.
So I guess first things first. I'll start in the middle once again of my favorite TV show, Succession. So there's them, and then there are 3 adult children.
Yes.
You have
the baby who has...
the names fucking had me. And no offense if these are your names, but like it's so Reddit. The Sibset, the sibling, like Saxon, Lachlan, and Piper. Yes. I was like, yup, that's what that couple names all 3 of their children.
Yep, 100%.
Not bad names, just
those names.
And all 3 of those together.
Like Lachlan Ratliff.
Lachlan is not my favorite.
No. And he is about to graduate high school. He's the youngest.
Yes.
And then Piper, who is there supposedly working on a thesis, and that is not the case. She actually wants to join a monastery and learn about Buddhism and enlightenment and connect with her spirituality. And then Saxon is the eldest, and he works for Dad.
He wants to be his dad.
Yes. He likes to drink protein shakes and fuck women.
Oh, another theory I've seen is that that fruit they pointed out very heavily as being poisonous in the first season in the first episode is going in a protein shake for somebody.
Oh, 1,000%. But when that happened, Logan and I both looked at each other and were like, do you think they'll call that back? Oh no, that's extremely poisonous. You shouldn't be near that. Oh, thank you very much, Australian friend. We appreciate you.
Well, let me rev this blender 800 times. Now, how do we explain this gently?
There's so much on this family. So what Amy started bringing up earlier was that the father...
Yes, let's start there.
The father is now being flagged for a white-collar crime of money laundering and...
He's spiraling.
Yes.
As we all... Look, who amongst us hasn't stolen some lorazepam? Who hasn't?
Yeah, that happens, I guess, for people. So he is so caught up in the inevitability of him going to jail.
Yep.
The inevitability of him going to jail that he is now self-medicating with the lorazepam, which he keeps denying taking. He has imagined murdering his whole family. And then while that's all happening...
Not his whole family. Just his wife and eldest son.
That's true.
Who have made it very clear they don't want to live if he is not a success. So I don't know. What do you do?
And then the 2 boys in the family.
There's no delicate way to say this.
They're part of a threesome together. There's incest. I feel like it's very troubling that I've talked about how I really like this season, and this is the one where I'm like, there's incest.
You're like my favorite one, where the baby brother jacks the older brother off.
So jarring.
They were both like blackout on drugs, which it's still weird. It's not okay.
But it also wasn't.
That does explain it's not like a motivated character decision for either of them quite as much that we can tell.
No.
Moving along. Because that's all I got to say about that.
And yet we've only had Piper, no. Not Saxon, no. Lachlan, no.
Well, she doesn't know. She just knows Piper's trying to join a monastery.
That's true. But the minute she finds out.
Or a meditation
center.
Yes.
A Buddhist temple.
Yes, that feels more accurate.
Something of that nature.
Then we got Rick, your favorite.
Walton Goggins.
Your boy, Walty Goggs.
Oh my gosh.
There's a tweet that was just like, they named that man right. That man's name is Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
Look at him.
I'd have it no other way.
Toe to tip. That's a Walton Goggins.
Yeah, absolutely. With Amy Woods, I believe is the actress's name.
Amy Lou Woods.
Something like that.
I believe so.
So
Holding it down for the Amys.
Yeah, a delightful British actress who was in Sex Education.
Your description of her.
I do have to give Logan credit for this too, because it was us going back and forth of trying to figure her out.
Yeah.
But it's that girl, because we were trying to remember who she was. And we were like, oh, the one who is like if somebody wished for Jenna Ortega to be a bunny rabbit and happy.
That's the one.
That's her.
So they're a couple. A fun play because we play a lot with the like older rich guy with the young hot girlfriend, and it's like they're that but she at least really swears, and you do get the feeling she really likes her, but in that very Mike White way of like, but would you be with him if he didn't have money? Like, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
He wants to not quite avenge the death of his father. He just wanted to talk to the guy and push him over, I guess.
Before, he seemed like he wanted to murder.
Yeah.
But then, once presented, he was like, no, I just want to yell at you and topple you because you're a sad old man.
Sure.
Which, I know you're not as into the Marvel stuff, but that actor played Daredevil's mentor on the Netflix Daredevil show. And so we kept just being like, I hope this is a crossover event. I hope that sticks. And I hope that Daredevil just pops out of nowhere and is like, not today, Walton Goggins.
We got... Yeah, that's kind of the gist of that one. Mm-hmm. And then Chelsea, Amy Lou Wood, is just like, unfortunately, in the aftermath, constantly hearing like, "Why'd you do that to your brother?" And she's like, I don't want to be here.
Her facial reactions are so great.
Not to gloss over the incredible Sam Rockwell monologue, but frankly, I just don't think we have the time.
No. And also, it's something that you should witness.
Yes.
I don't.
Our description of it will not do it justice.
No, and honestly, it'll ruin it.
Yeah,
watch him do his monologue, and you experience it for yourself, and then let us know what you thought.
You and Walty Goggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mook and Guy talk.
Yes. Okay, how do you feel about them? Because the internet was saying like, "Oh my gosh, he can't take a hint. She's not even into him." Which
I think I might be team Mook might be devious.
I think so.
Because okay, this is one of those funny moments of like just an absolute blind spot in my knowledge of the world and popular culture. I had no idea who Lisa was.
Oh, from Blackpink.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I heard them talking about casting her, and I looked her up, and it was like, oh, she is the most popular and well-known woman in the world. Where the fuck have I been? Just in my little Western bubble. I just don't listen to K-pop. Yeah.
I go to a K-pop birthday party every single year for Rachel Gunnarsson. What's up? And she teaches me about all the K-pop.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I think she's doing quite well for being, I believe, her first big like acting role.
Yeah.
But all this to say, we're not here to talk about my ignorance and blind spots. We could fill a whole season of podcasts with that, and we do, and it's called Two Filthy Casuals. But the point is, I don't think you hire someone that big to have her just be the girl the guy's interested in.
Fair point. Well, and she seems to, particularly this last episode,
really want him to kill somebody?
Really into violence. It's natural. That was the line that I went, oh, I don't love that.
She's doing a good job. I don't like Mook as a character.
No.
Yeah.
One, especially, and again, the internet was like, he seems like such an incel. I was like, no. He does not at all. I feel like that's a weird, like, not understanding media kind of moment.
He's terrible at his job.
He's terrible at his job, but this girl genuinely seems to like him,
or is leading him on.
But also only seems to be very interested romantically when he has the prospect of having a better job. But in this case, it's not even a better job. It is a more dangerous job or a more violent job. He's a security guard. He works at the same hotel as her. Yeah, security guard. But she's really into like the armed bodyguards of these other folks in the resort.
I hope something's up there because I think if not, that one feels like a bit of a, oh, okay.
It'd be really cool if she ended up being like the ringleaders of the Russians. If she was
I don't know, but I'd like it.
An insider on that too, not just Valentin.
That'd be chill.
And then the Gary Gregg Belinda thing, which we covered.
Yeah. Belinda got some. Happy for my girl.
Yes.
I was happy for my girl and then immediately nervous because I was like, uh-oh, happy too early in the season. Uh-oh. Okay, can we talk about this real quick? The thing that pissed me off in the last episode, because Gary pulls her aside and is like, I know you know who I am. I am living here in Thailand because it, keeps me away from too many questions about what happened. I would ask you to respect my privacy, and in return, here's $10,000 or $100,000. Yeah, I don't. I have 4, so anything more than that, I'm like, oh, whoa. But Now, the correct answer to that, regardless of what you're going to do, is, oh, wow, thank you so much. I'm going to take this and leave so you don't send goons after me.
Absolutely.
And then you call the police if you want to make the morally correct decision.
Yeah.
Fine. But she's like, I'm going to have to think about it. Wait. Belinda.
You can think about it, but not in front of him.
Belinda.
You in danger. Leave. Well, and her son, Zion, sums this up so well, too, of like, take the money because he will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I understand. Belinda is one of the few characters in this show, in this series, who is a good person.
Yeah.
Who's a genuinely good person.
Though I do think there's an interesting argument to be made. I do think she is like morally a good person, but like in the way this show is very much, I'm not saying it makes her bad, but in the way this show is very much, and I think that first season especially is so much about sort of the unspoken relationship transactions that happen when one party has a lot of money.
Yes.
And even with Belinda and Tanya, there is a bit of like, no, you kind of know this woman's not in a great spade. Like and I'm not saying she's wrong to do it, like Tanya offers, but like that and her disappointment with not getting the money, it's like it all plays into that. When that much money comes into play, it's hard to not sort of, oh, we really get along.
Yeah. Well, and also, you can afford it. It's so much of the vibe, particularly in season 1 of that.
Yeah.
You can give me that money.
Yeah.
This is nothing to you.
Yeah. And I'm not arguing Belinda's a bad, but I do think she's one of the few, like, morally pretty, well-compassed characters on that show. I just think it's interesting in a show where we're constantly talking about, like, you know, it's like, well, or the Chelsea Rick thing, where it's like, I was so caught up, and they're like, no, she really loves him. And it's like, would she if he didn't have money? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. She might, because he's Walton Goggins. Listen, hear me out. I think he's like old Hollywood handsome. I really do.
He's got a charm.
He's got
a je ne sais quoi.
He does.
I simp for Albie. I don't get to tell anyone anything.
Fair.
I'm simping for a simp over here. Like, God help me. God help me. I think that's the broad stroke. And then Fabian just wants to sing a song.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening.
No.
Someone said they think it's going to be Fabian. Just because, like, no one's paying attention to him.
So out of left field, which would be wild and fun. He's a manager at the hotel.
Yes. Who do you think it's going to be? Just, I want you to take a, like, here, I'm placing my chips on.
We got to walk through this a little bit, though.
Okay.
Because, Jason Isaac's character, the father of the Ratliff family, had a gun, keeps fantasizing about shooting people, but the gun is gone. Guy Talk took the gun away.
Yes.
Rick, Walton Goggins' character, had a gun. Recently threw the gun in the trash, is no longer on the vengeance quest.
Yes.
So that's gone. Now, Guy Talk could, in a moment of trying to redeem himself for the fumbled robbery situation, see the Russians and open fire. But that feels too much like a redemptive hero thing than what this show does.
Yes.
So, I mean, what if that old man comes and kills Walton Goggins? You pushed me in my chair.
I don't know, man. He went down pretty hard in that chair.
Just, nah. I'm trying. I think Mook is a really interesting theory of like
shooter
of grabbing the gun and like violence is normal or something or other, or pushing somebody into shooting somebody.
Interesting.
Egging them on. I do think the toxic women, again, that'd be an interesting, weird choice. I don't know how I'd rationalize it, really, aside from, wouldn't it be wild if it's one of them? I feel like the most likely situation is, like, one of the brothers of dealing with this, like, guilt and trauma and darkness of maybe being the one to, like...
But they seemed, like, pretty okay this week.
They seemed all right.
Like, they were bummed about it last week, and then there's just like, look, it happened.
Yeah. Or I mean, it could be Gary. Could be Belinda.
I think it's too obvious. I think
Yeah.
if it is Gary, it'll be like the last season where it's like there is a very violent situation, but then the death is something weird and accidental. Like I could see the Russians be. This is my theory, based on what we know of this show. I think gunshots, because there were several, will be coming or connected somehow back to the Russians. I think the death will be unrelated to that.
Ooh. Okay.
Because there's also a body in the water, but the gunshots sounded far away in the opening when Zion sees the body. If I'm remembering correctly, I haven't rewatched it since the premiere. So I'm going to say death unrelated, gunshots happening, death unrelated to gunshots. And if I'm going to just take a random swing at who I think is dead, Victoria.
Oh, that's interesting.
Victoria or Piper.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the women of that family.
Ooh, Piper would be particularly tragic.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Because she kind of wants to be a Buddhist. I don't think she wants to be a Buddhist.
I don't think she does either. I think she likes the idea of it. I don't think she likes the actual practice.
Correct.
Because also she got really weirded out about her little brother wanting to be there too.
Well,
She wants it to be her thing. But, I mean.
or maybe she just got a vibe off Lachlan, because at this point.
You seem to have a sibling thing, and I'm not here for that. It could also even be the Russian's girlfriend who like freaked the hell out on Lori.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's my theory.
But then I'd want it to be Jacqueline who got shot.
We all do.
Yeah.
Good God. Final question. Where would you want season 4 to go?
Ooh.
I feel like this has been a big conversation online.
Like which part of the world?
Yeah.
Where in the world is White Lotus? Okay, so we've done Hawaii, Sicily, now Thailand.
I know we have traditionally been on an island every time.
Yes. There is something isolating about it too, which I think is a really cool factor.
I also did look up where 4 seasons were.
Oh.
So one that I've seen a lot of people pitching that I would love, but I don't know if it'll happen, is like a ski season.
Ooh.
Right? Like a cold, like the Alps or something.
That could be really cool.
Allegedly, Mike White hates being cold, so it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Is what I heard, which like I would do the same. What I think would be really interesting and different, there is a 4 season, which is where they traditionally film, in Serengeti National Park.
Oh.
I think that could be really, really fucking cool.
That would be interesting because then you can also get into a conversation about wildlife, big game, performative.
And the show does such a cool job using elements of the culture, like in the music for the show and in, some of the imagery and like the way it shoots these locations is so overwhelmingly beautiful. So I think diving into that could be really cool and different and something we haven't touched on. Just my own like personal places I think would be cool and interesting. Somewhere in like Morocco, I think would be like Marrakesh or Casablanca.
I was going to say Casablanca would be really cool.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi or Dubai are big.
Dubai would just be fascinating because I feel like there's so much to delve into sort of socially and like a lot to mine there. Those or Mexico. I feel like I've seen a lot of people just throwing around like Mexico would be cool and they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Those would be my votes.
I like those.
Yeah. Houston.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, I'm glad we've won you over at least slightly on the show.
Yeah. Bali. That'd be cool.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be a really neat one.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Sorry, would you like more of the list?
No, that's okay. Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
We'll just read every location.
Hey, that's a neat place.
Here are places where there are
These are places
4
with
seasons.
things. Yeah.
Butcher some names. Girl, you can handle Succession and Severance. We're cutting you off. I'm glad we kind of won you over on this show.
Yeah, I'm glad that you gave me a gentle, I think maybe you should give it a go. This season is interesting.
I don't even know if I said that.
Well, I mean, that was the gist, where you were like, I don't know, it's pretty good.
I kept going, the brothers are... I know how much
No.
I know.
No.
You might be interested in that.
Oh, God. No.
No, you start watching it way before.
Yeah.
Though the first episode is getting a little.
The first episode is I just still didn't think it was going to go that way.
No.
But it's because Saxon was like, well, since our sister's hot. Or I was like, oh, no, don't say your sister's hot. That's gross.
Yes.
Don't do that.
No.
Which weirdly, around the same time, I started watching, was it Running Point? The Kate Hudson basketball show on Netflix.
Okay.
Which is very fun. But in that first episode, she has a thing where she's talking about her brother and and I know it's weird for like a sister to say, but like, he's pretty hot. And I went, no, you don't say that.
What writer wrote that?
You don't say that. Mindy Kaling and Ike, what is his last name? Bernholtz? They're writers on it. But still, it's just no. As people with brothers, at best you do he's a very handsome guy. Yeah, I can see why people would think, and he's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like no sibling talks about their sibling that way.
I've never heard anybody with a sibling.
No. Ick. When people are like, Hayden's so good looking, I'm like, good for you.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That's my face on a boy. Neat. Okay. Cool. Ugh.
But,
The show is wild.
The show is wild. And that's the other thing. If you're watching and you haven't watched it, if you're watching us, but you haven't watched White Lotus, come give it a watch. Because it's a hard show. I feel like half the things we've just said sound bizarre and like they shouldn't work, but they do.
Yeah, it's like a Mad Lib. Honestly, that might be what Mike White is doing. That might be the whole process here. But let us know if you are watching this show, how you feel about it. Let us know who has the gun.
I want to hear your theories.
Yeah.
Drop 'em.
Is it gonna be a monkey? Mayhaps.
I'm standing by my theory. I think gun, but smoothie kills. I'm just going to double down on it because I know I'm going to be wrong. Mm-hmm. But there's like that little sliver where I'd love to play this back and be like, Mike, hire me to write. Oh, he writes and directs every episode.
Does he?
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. Good for you. Good for you, Mike White, who obviously watches all of our podcasts.
You won't return our calls, but you're watching our show.
You're watching everything.
It's like when someone stops texting you, but then likes your Instagram post, and you're like, you're still awake. And there are different types of communication. I get it.
That's fair, but I don't know.
One's so much more passive. Sometimes the edible hits, and you're like, I can't. I'm going to be weird, but I can.
Or you just absolutely text that of, listen, my edible hit, which is usually my move.
I love that. I always love it. I'm like, oh, no judgment zone. Much like a White Lotus.
Which is not a sex position.
And until next time, I'm Amy Newman. Wait, we have things you can follow. Instagram, TikTok, Two Filthy Casuals Pod. YouTube, Two Filthy Casuals Pod. Patreon.com/, you guessed it, Two Filthy Casuals Pod. We have video of all this if you want to check it out that way. We have audio of all this if you're driving and you want to get your fix of our beautiful Lolos.
And why wouldn't you?
We're
going to clip that out as our promo from now on.
Bonus content at the Patreon. Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody, for supporting that. It helps us keep the lights on. Mm-hmm. Keep the Lolos coming.
Exactly.
Until next time, I'm Amy Newman.
I'm Kris Carr.
And remember, if you follow this fandom... Oh, I was going to harmonize.
Oh.
Ready? You...
Okay.
You're... That felt really good.
Yeah. Mike White, call us.